Welcome. Today we are exploring class intervals, specifically focusing on how we group continuous data. This is a fundamental concept in statistics that helps us organize measurements into manageable categories. First, let us distinguish between the two main types of numerical data. Discrete data involves counting, like the number of people in a room. You can only have whole numbers. Continuous data, however, involves measuring. This includes things like height, weight, or time, where values can be any number on a scale, including decimals. Why do we need to group data? Imagine measuring the height of 100 plants. You might get precise values like 152.4 or 160.1. Because these numbers are so specific, they rarely repeat. This gives you a long, messy list of numbers where it is nearly impossible to spot any patterns. This is where class intervals come in. A class interval is simply a range of values. You can think of them as bins or buckets. Instead of listing every single unique measurement, we check which bucket the measurement falls into and drop it there. Let us look at the parts of an interval. Here we have the group 10 to 20. The number 10 is called the lower limit. The number 20 is the upper limit. The difference between these two numbers is the class width. In this case, the width is 10. How do you decide how wide your groups should be? A simple rule is to take your range, which is your maximum value minus your minimum value, and divide it by the number of groups you want. If your range is 40 and you want 4 groups, your width should be 10. There are 3 important rules. First, no overlaps. A number must belong to only one group. Second, equal width. Keep the size of your groups consistent to make fair comparisons. Third, they must be continuous. There should be no gaps between the end of one group and the start of the next. Let us apply this to real data. Here we have a list of plant heights. We create bins starting from 150. We take each number from our list and place it into the corresponding bin. For example, 152 goes into the first bin, and 168 goes into the second. Once we have sorted all our data, we count how many items are in each bin. This count is called the frequency. We present this in a frequency table. This table summarizes our large, messy dataset into a clear, concise format that tells us where most of the data lies. Finally, we can visualize this table using a histogram. Notice how the bars touch each other? This indicates that the data is continuous. The height of each bar represents the frequency. Now, at a glance, you can see the distribution of heights clearly.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.